Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Next on HIKI NŌ, stories from across the island chain. A new video game is teaching players across the world about a remote culture.
A new court in Windward, Oahu is finally leveling the playing field for one high school team.
And find out why one man's escape from his home country is fueling a passion for local kids' education.
We'll tell you how sports helped save a family dealing with a tragic loss and how it transformed an entire community.
We'll introduce you to a student athlete who's learning to balance life, sports, and school.
Plus, will a telescope that will give us the clearest view of the galaxy ever destroy a sacred summit? One student takes us on his journey to settle a personal struggle over the controversial 30-meter telescope.
All on this episode of HIKI NŌ, coming to you from Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa, home of the Owls.
That's next on the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI NŌ.
Can do. Welcome to Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley on the island of Oahu. In 1908, the Kauai Ha'o Seminary for Girls, founded in 1864, and the Mills Institute for Boys, founded in 1892, merged to form Mid-Pacific Institute, and the new school moved to its current location here in Manoa Valley. In the early 1900s, a typical day included working on the farm or learning how to sew. Over the past 100 plus years, Mid-Pacific has seen many changes. The farm and the craft shops are long forgotten memories, while the Hartley Math, Science and Technology Center and the Weinberg Technology Plaza are relatively recent additions.
Balancing the past and the future is not always easy. Our first story takes us to Hawaii Island, where the construction of the world's most advanced telescope is creating not only a community controversy, but one student's personal struggle.
My name is Hoku Subiono, and I am a student at Ku'okala in Milolii. I love science and technology, and I'm actively involved in web design and computer technology. I'm also Hawaiian. I respect my culture and its values. In October, my classmates and I took these pictures at the groundbreaking ceremony of the 30-meter telescope. The 30-meter telescope at 34,000 square feet at 18 stories tall would be the largest telescope on Mauna Kea. Scientists say it will be 100 times better than any other telescope and will revolutionize astronomy.
If you took all the telescopes on Earth right now, it's going to be better than all of them combined. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but it's true.
I was surprised at the protest how passionate my people were in opposition to the telescope. Many Hawaiians see it as further desecration and destruction of their cultural heritage as well as their natural resources.
We have done many things together, but for this, I cannot stand and support you. You are about to try and make sacred the act that would desecrate our highest temple. We already know and we have seen how the UH maintains and takes care of this mountain. It does not.
I wanted to know more, so I reached out to several different people about their thoughts on TMT. I asked Mayor Billy Kanoi, a native Hawaiian, about why he supports the project.
I believe celestial navigation, astronomy, is a sacred science. I believe as Hawaiians, celestial navigation, we've, as part of our culture, it is how we got here, it is how we return, it is how we come home. Also, Mauna Kea, it's a sacred place, it's a vahipana. I think it's entirely appropriate that a sacred science should occur in a sacred place.
I asked Sandra Dawson, who works for the TMT, about the environmental impact studies concerning the project.
We went way beyond what most people do when they do one. We had 7 public meetings for our scoping. We went out into the community. We had 7 more meetings when we did our draft EIS. It's about 1,000 pages in 2 volumes. And at the end, in 2010, when it was completed, the governor, Lingle at the time, signed it, approved it, and no one challenged it in court.
I asked Kealoha Pascati, an environmental activist, about her position regarding the environmental impact of the TMT.
The TMT's environmental impact statement, which is only a state level, by the way, it should be federal, has adopted the same positions that the federal one already came up with, and that is that 30 years of astronomy development on Mauna Kea has resulted in adverse and significant impact to the natural and cultural resources of Mauna Kea. What our position is on the mountain is that we want no further development.
And those are just a few of the generous people who shared their opinions and arguments with me. Clearly, this is a complicated issue, without a simple solution. I'm still torn. I want to preserve the places that mean so much to my cultural heritage, but I also see that the project will bring new understanding of our universe and provide educational opportunities to students in Hawaii. I hope to revisit this in 10 years' time and see for myself if TMT does in fact keep their commitments, both to help expand our knowledge of the universe and to be respectful stewards of our cultural sites. This is Hoku Subiono, reporting for HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ is now on Instagram. For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKI NŌ Can Do. We're back at Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley next to the University of Hawaii. I'm here at the Weinberg Technology Plaza where students attend classes in digital media, innovative design technology, and technology for the 21st century. At the Weinberg Technology Plaza, students have access to tools that help them turn ideas into reality. Whether it is an original music composition or a new wing design that needs to be tested in the wind tunnel, students are encouraged to express their creativity and to explore their passions. Here, Senior Matthew Ho displays his 3D printed sculpture, filled with information. Our next story takes us to Kamehameha Schools Kapalama on Oahu, where students show us the cultural inspiration behind a new video game.
Well, I knew nothing about video games when I got into this. I mean, I'm a mom with a daughter who's in college, right? And I remember playing Pac-Man. That's how long ago I played video games.
As the head of the Cook Inlet Tribal Council in Alaska, Gloria O'Neill was tasked with generating income to support their mission of improving the lives of Alaska Natives. She recently visited Kamehameha Schools to share with students her experience of taking the unlikely leap into the billion-dollar industry of video gaming.
And then the idea came to us, why not use the power of who we are, our stories, our culture, and marrying that with the technology of video games. What we really wanted to do is make sure that we created a game where we could share and extend our culture with the world, and it was authentic and it was genuine. And the only way to do that was we had Anupak writers, storytellers, elders, young people, linguists, all involved with the development process. And so we wanted to create an experience where if an Alaska Native person picked up and controllers to start playing the game, that he or she could see themselves in the game and to be proud of it. So there was a huge responsibility, and it was something that our elders asked us to do and do well. And as you all know, when elders ask you to do something, you better do it right, right?
After about 2 years of development, Never Alone was released in November of 2014. The game is in Inupiaq, one of the Alaska Native languages. It follows Nuna, a little girl and her fox companion, as they seek to stop an eternal blizzard.
In the gamer's point of view, you have different mechanics as well, as far as the jumping, as far as the solving of the platformer, going from each space to the next, and then trying to figure out how to get through it. It adds that piece to the puzzle when it comes to combining the gameplay and the story, and it's a very nice balance.
I'm here in Hawaii and my family's in Alaska. I didn't know anything about the culture, and now that there's a video game that I can have and play here, that's really going to help me connect with them and learn a little bit more.
Where we're bringing together people of communities to share their cultures through using the power of video games, share their culture, extend their culture to the world, that they're involved and that their voice is a part of that process.
It really is inspiring to me as a Hawaiian to try and see if we can put our stories in that same way, to get our culture out to other people in not only just an educational way, but a fun way too. Video games are fun to play, and it would be great to tell the story of our people.
Perhaps in the near future, students in Hawaii will be inspired to not only play video games, but to create the first Hawaiian-based video game. I'm Amber Ibuka from Kamehameha Schools Kapalama for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Mid-Pacific in Honolulu. For the past 12 years, the middle school has started off the year with Field Day, where over 400 middle school students unite for a day of friendly competition and bonding. Classes compete in traditional games such as the Alaskan Pipeline and Scooter Race. One of the exciting creative challenges is the Homeroom Dance-Off competition, 15 Seconds of Fame. Each homeroom is given 30 minutes to choreograph and rehearse their performance, then it's showtime. Students have a great time and the faculty are always right there in the mix.
In Kailua, the celebration is over a new tennis court. We now take you to Kalaheo High School on Oahu to find out why students and faculty are cheering.
To some, this may look like an ordinary day at the tennis courts, but for the Kalaheo High School team, ordinary is a welcome change. In recent years, Kalaheo didn't have a home court advantage, or home courts at all.
How long we didn't have tennis courts? A long time, about 10 years.
The thing is, Kalaheo did have courts, just not for tennis players. In the early 2000s, the courts fell so far into disrepair that the surface damage made it impossible to play. The air riflery team used the space for practice, but the tennis team was left with nothing.
Before we had courts at Kalaheo, we'd used to practice at Kailua Rec. And I used to ride my bike over there. And I wouldn't really be late because I'd leave my house early, but it usually take about 15-20 minutes to get there.
The coach was nice enough to bring us to practice right after school, but there were some times where I wasn't able to get a ride, so I'd have to bike there after school super fast since I couldn't drive.
Losing valuable practice time to a 3-mile commute wasn't the team's only problem.
There were many issues with not having our own tennis courts. Kailua District Park was our park that we could get permits for games, but they could not allow us to have permits for practices. So some of the times we would go down there early afternoons on a Tuesday, Thursday if we got out early, and coach would take some of the student athletes and try to get in some sets before, you know, the regular crowd comes about 4 o'clock or so. But the boys and the girls would have to go at different times because there's only about 2 courts. So.
Well, it was hard for the team to bond, and there'd be people on my team that I never practiced with together, so it would be very hard for me to get to know them. I'd just see them during matches and be like, oh, hi, but I would never really know them, or sometimes I wouldn't even remember their name.
After years of construction, waiting, and multi-millions of dollars, the new courts opened on Kalaheo's campus in 2014. Hopefully, this new match will rally the team into a successful season.
Is having our own courts going to affect team dynamics? Definitely. There's just something about having home court advantage, just knowing our own turf, just being comfortable with the place, our ability to sweat on the court that we train really hard on together, where we have to lie down together to stretch, where we have to do push-ups, sit-ups, and just sprints back and forth. There's just something about just having your own place to call your own home, essentially, home courts.
1, 2, 3, Mustangs! This is Lila Rosen from Kalaheo High School for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley on the island of Oahu. Behind me is the Hartley Complex, one of the sites of the Mid-Pacific Exploratory program. MPX is a 2-year program designed to explore best practice ideas and project-based learning. Math and science are taught through STEM projects, and language arts and social studies are taught through humanities projects. Here, freshmen are shown working on an aquapotic system as part of their sustainability and food safety theme, while sophomores work on building electric bicycles as part of their sustainable transportation theme. Balancing projects, school, and sports can be quite a challenge, and an emotional one. We traveled to Waianae High School on Oahu to meet one student athlete working to find that delicate balance.
There's an assignment.
From 6 in the morning to 11:30 at night, senior Harmonie Westbrook has a lot on her plate.
The document.
Okay.
Click on the document.
Every week, Harmonie balances school with wrestling and boxing practices and meets and her part-time job at the family paintball business.
Harmonie gives her all regardless of what she does. And that's what, you know what I mean? I admire that about her. Don't tell her that.
You spell Harmonie, that's how you spell awesome.
But the stress of staying on top of things is no laughing matter.
According to a University of Toronto study, 40% of teenagers who participate in school sports suffer from high levels of stress and feelings of depression.
And Harmonie knows what it's like to have a breaking point.
It was a 3-hour practice during winter break, and we had a double practice. And I left during practice, and I came home crying to my mom saying that I hate wrestling and I don't want to do it again. I just felt so exhausted because the day before that, we had a tournament at the paintball field. So I didn't get no sleep, and I just felt so overwhelmed and stressed out with everything.
I mean, I seen her dehydrated. I seen her so thin. I was saying, Harmonie, quit. And I could just see her mentally, physically, and her body was just deteriorating.
And it wasn't just last year.
I always feel so exhausted. And I want to do good in everything I do. So it's not like I'm just gonna mediocre it. I'm dying.
Every individual athlete or even student manages it. I think students, they do a multiplicity of things to manage stress in their life.
For student athletes in particular, one way to solve stress is to
de-stress, deflate at the end of the day, decompress. I think it's very important that people who live a fast-paced life, they have to make time for themselves somewhere, yeah?
I think for about 2 days I stood home to just sleep because I was drained and I feel like I couldn't move out of bed. All the time I get stressed out because of my schedule, but I always just sleep it off.
They should really try to talk to someone about it, talk to their parents or a teacher, counselor, and get some perspective on it.
If somebody's well organized and they know what's coming, that's gonna release stress too, yeah?
I feel like, high school is almost over, so everything's gonna pay off. I wanna be independent. I don't wanna be depending on anybody else but myself.
Balancing it all as an adult won't be easy, but it's one goal this student is determined to meet, to achieve complete harmony.
So then what do I do after that?
This is Diamond Tuisano from Waianae High School for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Mid-Pacific in Manoa Valley. I'm standing in front of Kauai Ha'o, the oldest building on campus. Some people say Kauai Ha'o is home to a friendly apparition we call the Holoku lady. Over the years, there have been numerous reported sightings of a lady dressed in a white holoku, which is the Hawaiian word for a long, loose-fitting gown with long sleeves and a high neck. It is said that one of our early female boarding students died suddenly one night and that her spirit lives on in Kauai Ha'o. She was even featured on the cover of a recently published yearbook. On Maui, a staff member is leaving his mark on campus, one smile at a time. We go now to Lahaina Intermediate School for the story.
Kausiga Tukana, or as the students at Lahaina Intermediate School call him, Tuki, is a warm and gentle giant. As the school security guard, he has cast a warm and friendly shadow over the campus for more than 12 years.
And then I meet all the students and all the staff members in the front end of the school office. And I made it a duty that I am welcoming everyone that comes across LIS.
Making people feel welcome has a deeper meaning for Mr. Tukana. He fled from his home country of Fiji in 2000 after a coup that left him seeking political asylum.
And I came here into the United States not knowing what to expect. But when I reached here, within 2 weeks, I discovered it is a big change from where I used to be in the islands of Fiji. Struggling, hardship in life, and here in America, I can see opportunities that will lead me to a better life.
It took 14 years of hard work, classes, questionnaires, criminal background checks, and more for Mr. Tukana to earn the title U.S. citizen. But even with his change in status, he never plans to change the job he cherishes.
I love my job in looking after the safety of the children and also their education. Hi, Shayla, how are you?
Good, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
And his #1 priority is to help make sure the kids he sees every day take advantage of the opportunities he just received as a citizen.
I would love to see a student get a good education. Not only a good education, a safety for environment.
To do that, Mr. Tukana arrives before most others on campus. He checks all classrooms and makes sure the environment is secure for the day. Then, he keeps an eye on everyone throughout the day.
I move around from classrooms to classrooms, that no noises, no disruptions are in the class.
While most of his interactions with students are friendly, he does have to deal with students who are not where they're supposed to be or need escorting to the office. He has a way of dealing with these students.
I look at the positiveness of what to expect rather than to the negativeness of the students' behavior.
Mr. Tukana is happy to be at Lahaina Intermediate and is excited about what his future as a new U.S. citizen will hold.
I feel great, and I want to have some more of what America can give and offer me.
This is Micah Barozzi reporting from Lahaina Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ is now on Instagram. For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKI NŌ Can Do.
We're back on the campus of Mid-Pacific in Manoa Valley. I'm here at Atherton Hall, where the Historical Preservation class provides students the opportunity to study historic sites and artifacts on a deeper level. Students first researched selected historic sites, then used LiDAR technology to scan those sites. LiDAR stands for Light Detection and Ranging and is used to create high-resolution mapping. The classes scanned the World War II Dauntless dive bomber at the Pacific Aviation Museum and the original post office at Fort Shafter, which is on the National Register of Historic Places.
One Valley Isle family turned a tragic past into an inspiring future for hundreds of kids, coaches, and parents. Maui High School introduces us to one group that is truly teaching the meaning of Pono.
Sure.
Wow.
Who that from, Pono?
Pono. Pono boy was very loving, so he was always hugging, talking to people. He was very, very friendly, so he would talk to strangers, and a lot of people fell in love with him, love at first sight.
Drew Kupono Viela was born on March 15, 2001. From day one, Drew, affectionately known as Pono, was the life of the party and joy of the family. His good nature and sense of humor was quite infectious.
He was kind of like a magnet. They would kind of go up to him and they would just start talking to him. The other thing was he was pretty kolohe.
In June 2004, Pono's life was cut short when the ATV he was riding on crashed. He was just 3 years old. In the midst of the sorrow, the Viela family felt it was important to turn the tragedy into something positive.
We kind of thought about, how can, Pono's legacy live. We decided to take his name. So we took the word Pono, the name Pono and what it meant. The whole idea behind the value and the meaning of Pono, we use that and we try to take, one aspect of it and try to spread it, amongst our friends,
In 2005, the Vielas created the All Pono Sports Organization. Pono is a Hawaiian word for righteousness, goodness, uprightness, and morality. All Pono spreads the value of Pono through its athletics and service programs.
All Pono right now, we have Pono baseball, Pono soccer, Pono softball, and we have couple service clubs.
And it's the Pono that sets the organization apart from others. Coaches and parents are required to attend annual workshops on positive and honorable practices. The league stresses the importance of respecting officials and players at every game. And it's working. Since its start as 2 softball teams 10 years ago, the organization has grown to a total of 32 sports teams, serving approximately 400 children ages 5 to 15.
Catch the ball first. Good. Nice job, Hawaiian.
Now, even local sports celebrities such as professional baseball player Kurt Suzuki are adding to the message.
You can do that, go to school, can play, no matter how good you are, yeah?
From humble beginnings, All Pono has evolved to become an integral part of the community. the meaning of Pono has caught on and grown, not only locally, but internationally.
You know, we know that like our merchandise that we create, you know, has spread throughout, you know, the foreign countries like Japan. We know they went to Australia, you know, so it's gotten, you know, very big and it's spread very far. Along with the merchandise they go, you know, they take the story and the value of Pono. I think it's still evolving, which is, you know, it's still growing. Uh-oh.
The Pono movement is allowing the Viela family to heal and also to heal others.
You know, we get up every day and thinking, how can we go out there and spread Pono? How can we go there and impact people's lives? You know, and that's the Pono value that is instilled in us, and just because of Pono Boy.
This is Chris Kim from Maui High for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley. We are in front of the Atherton Pavilion, home of Pupukahi, our school's hula program that started in 1988. Pupukahi means united as one, or coming together for a common purpose. Students of all ethnicities study the art of hula to understand the indigenous people of Hawaii and to gain respect for their cultural traditions. In 2015, Pupukahi will be participating in a cultural exchange with the New Zealand School of Dance. The trip will include a performance at Te Papa, the National Museum in Wellington.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI NŌ.
Remember, all of these stories were written, shot, and edited by students like us.
We hope you enjoyed watching them as much as we enjoyed sharing them with you.
Be sure to tune in to next week's episode for more proof that Hawaii students HIKI NŌ
Can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.